My name is Rohan Mehta. I'm a structural engineer. I grew up in Schaumburg, went to University of Illinois, and by 30, I had exactly the kind of life my parents came to this country to make possible for me. A good job at a firm in Chicago, a 4-bedroom house in Naperville, and a marriage I was genuinely proud of. I wasn't flashy about any of it. I just believed in it. Quiet pride, my dad always called it. That was the Mehta way. That was my way. I met Priya at a Diwali fundraiser in 2015. She was funny in this dry, understated way that took me completely off guard. She'd grown up in New Jersey, worked in pharmaceutical sales, traveled constantly for work. She was independent in a way I admired. We dated for 2 years before I proposed. She cried. I cried a little too, though I'll deny that forever. We got married in October 2017 in a small ceremony. Her family, mine, our closest friends. It felt completely real, because to me it absolutely was. The first crack came about 6 months before everything collapsed. Priya had always handled our joint finances. She was better at it, or so I thought. But I started noticing small things. A wire transfer I didn't recognize. A P.O. box address on a piece of mail she snatched off the counter before I could read it. She explained everything smoothly. Always a reason. Work reimbursements. A surprise for my birthday. I believed her every time because I had no framework for what the truth actually was. I just felt this low, persistent hum of unease I kept talking myself out of. It was a Tuesday afternoon. I'd come home early from a site visit. A man was standing on my porch, mid-40s, tired-looking, holding a manila envelope. He said his name was Derek Calloway. He said he'd been married to Priya since 2011. He said he lived in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. He said she'd never filed for divorce. He was calm in the way people get when they've already burned through all their shock and are running on something colder. He handed me the envelope and said, "I think you deserve to see this." Then he walked back to his car and drove away. The envelope had their marriage certificate, photos of their shared home in Cherry Hill, joint tax returns filed as recently as 20. Derek had found out when he accidentally saw a charge on their shared credit card, a card I didn't know existed, from a jeweler in Naperville. Our anniversary gift. He'd hired a private investigator. The PI found me. Our wedding. Our house, our entire life. Priya wasn't traveling for work half the time. She was living a complete second marriage in a different state. For 8 years, she had maintained 2 households, 2 husbands, 2 identities. The scale of it was almost incomprehensible. I didn't call Priya that night. I needed to think before I reacted. I contacted a family law attorney the next morning. Illinois doesn't recognize a second marriage when a first one is still legally valid, which meant my marriage to Priya was void from day one. That hit me harder than I expected. I also contacted a forensic accountant because I needed to know exactly what had moved through our joint accounts. I documented everything. Derek and I were in contact, carefully, through our attorneys. I was not going to blow this with emotion. I was going to be precise, methodical. My father is an engineer too. I learned young that the most devastating thing you can do to a broken structure is document it accurately. I let her come home. I waited. When she walked in and saw the marriage certificate on the counter, she went completely still. I watched her run through every possible story she could tell. I could almost see her cycling through them. Then I said quietly, "Derek says hello." And that was it. The performance ended. She didn't scream or collapse. She sat down and said, "I always thought I'd figure out a way to fix it before you found out." That sentence, that single sentence told me everything about how she saw me, as a problem to be managed, not a person to be honest with. Bigamy is a felony in Illinois. The DuPage County State's Attorney's Office took the case seriously. Priya was charged. She pleaded down to a lesser count, received probation by community service, and a permanent record. She lost her pharmaceutical sales license. Her employer, once the news got out, didn't wait to be asked. They let her go immediately. The forensic accountant found she had quietly moved over $40,000 from our joint accounts into a separate account over 4 years. A civil judgment followed the criminal case. Derek divorced her in New Jersey. I had the void marriage nullified. She had nothing left of either life. I still live in Naperville. I kept the house. Some people thought that was strange. Why stay somewhere full of those memories? But this house is mine. I paid for it. I built my life here, and I refuse to let her take that too. What I lost wasn't just a marriage. It was my trust in my own perception, the version of myself who never questioned anything she said. I've had to make peace with the fact that I loved someone real to me who was never real at all. That grief doesn't have a clean name. But I'm still here, still standing, quietly. The Meta way.
Like, subscribe, and comment your verdict below for more betrayal stories.